how many days it took to shoot the movie?
I think it was 24.
Good production. Right there, okay.
How did you get the idea of the housekeeper putting the things in the jars?
That is directly from a friend of mine. In fact, I think the first line, I put my bracelets on the kitchen counter. My friend said, I put my bracelets on the kitchen counter and they end up in the kitchen drawer, like with the knives. And she knows who she is. But, so, like that. I didn't even make it up.
There you go. Who's got a question? Right there, yes.
So how do you work with the actors? Because it feels incredibly real. So do you just sort of let them go? Do you shape it? How did you actually work with it?
How do you work with the actors? Do you let them go? Do you let them shape it?
Well, I guess we read through the script a couple of times, talk about stuff, take out things that they feel stupid, or can I say it this way instead of that way? What if I add this or take that out? And I say, yes, of course. As long as it's all done with respect and, you know, it's all about the material and not ego, which it never was with these guys. And we get to the set, and I guess I would do a lot of reminding about where we are in the story. You know, I don't think you'd be this mad here yet. I don't think you'd be this turned off yet. You haven't found out about that yet. And so they say, oh, yeah, right, or I give like a subtle direction. A lot of it is just less, more, or, you know, very simple stuff like that. Not that analytical. And a lot of, you know, faster. I'll say faster, and they're all like, oh, I know we're dying. And, you know, they all, usually in a good situation, we're all on the same page and we're in sync. And it's fun, you know. You know, certain scenes were much harder than others. The emotional ones, obviously, were much harder. And having, I guess I had to remember, you know, who's better in the early takes and who's better in the later takes. And having
Who is?
Julia's first few takes are the best, especially if she has to cry, which she never had to do. But if we wanted the scene to be really emotional, I knew she would come to take one just bawling. And unfortunately, Jim, and he took a while to warm up, so that was kind of a perfect fit. Except in like the kitchen scene where he says, "You broke my heart," and a lot of that was improvised. I told him he could, you know, say whatever you want in there. There wasn't much time for me to say whatever you want, because God knows how long they could talk. But in that case, they did, and on her takes, he was weeping, you know, behind his head. But it gave her performance that much more to work off of. And then we came around, and he cried again, so it was okay. He's a professional.
Who's got a question? Yeah, right here.
Talk a little bit about your childhood and not therapeutically
Mom?
speaking, but you know, and when you knew you wanted to be a writer and a director, and how you evolved as who you are today. That'd be interesting.
Don't worry, I'll do it really quickly. Well, my parents were in the movie business, and I didn't think I wanted to be in the movie business. I'd been on sets and stuff, and it was just fun. It didn't seem like a career for me, but I did like writing at a young age, so I started writing more. And I went to school to be a fine artist, actually, but I was not that good. And I started taking film classes, and they were easy. And continued to write. And then, and because I think my parents were in that business, it was not insane for me to propose, hey, could I go to film school? I think I want to do this. And they supported me, you know, financially, emotionally, everything, so I could do that. And ended up at Columbia Graduate Film School. I grew up in New York. We moved out here when I was a teenager, went back to New York. You know, had a lot of therapy.
Got time for one
Obviously.
more question. Yeah.
What were the main ideas that you wanted to get across in this movie? I mean, we had a lot of time. One of the things that goes up the stairs that last time,
Yeah.
and he asks, can he help her?
No, she asked if he can help her. Yeah.
And the point is, it's like, he didn't understand.
Yeah.
So how much of that
unable to ask for help until that last scene.
I think she was more invested in hating the guy than actually thinking maybe, it's like we get in these grooves of like, oh, we're a victim, or, the world's against us, and nothing goes my way. And it's like, he was just dense. It just didn't occur to him, which is pathetic, but still not what she thought. The world wasn't as angry and mean a place as she thought, in a way. And I think, I don't, when I'm writing something like that, it's not like I think, oh, this is going to really connect to the big plot in some way. Usually later, I think, oh, that kind of works with how she thinks about things. But, the big ideas were the ones that, about having your own perception and trusting that even though this person that you're meeting is someone else's ex, obviously it didn't work out, doesn't mean that they're broken for everyone. And that's the idea that sort of inspired me to start writing. Because everybody's got an ex. Well, not everybody, but some of you might have been married for a long time. But you will. Oh my God, you're horrifying. Aren't you glad you sat in the front?
Well, a movie like this, now that it's out.
I can't answer more questions. It's so fun to talk to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You had a question right there,
Look
sir.
at them.
I did. Unfortunately, we don't see very many movies like this. It's not exactly targeted at the stereotypical 18 to 34 male demographic that big studios like. Was this difficult to get greenlighted?
It wasn't, because Searchlight had said prior, we want to make a movie with you. Come to us with an idea, but you got to have a little bit more going than the last one, just in terms of plot or being commercial. So I thought, okay, I'm going to think of something that isn't going to be stupid, I hope, and pitched it to them in a very general way. I didn't have to go into detail, which was very lucky because I'm very bad at that. And so they said, okay, they paid me to write it with the assumption that they would make it, and eventually they did. It was a very long casting process to get all the cooks on board with all the pieces. That was hard and took a long time, but so no, it was not hard to get made. This one was easy.
That's terrific. It really
Thank you.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Very encouraging. You have a question, sir?
Jim was so larger than life in so many ways, and you worked with him so closely. Is it hard for you to realize that he's not here?
I don't think I've realized it yet. It's just, I look at him. Oh, he was asking about Jim and how hard that was, basically, and it still is. I can't believe he's not here. And he was supposed to be here, like doing this with me, and he never saw the movie. So, and he was, he wasn't sure he was doing a good job. I mean, I think in the end he knew he was, but he hadn't seen it yet, and it would be so wonderful to experience this with him. I mean, that's my own personal experience. He obviously a lot more tragedy involved than a movie.
Last question, you in the glasses.
Yeah, following up on Gandolfini, I was wondering how long before he died you shot this, and I'm sure we all feel like we've missed out on a lot of great performances to come from him, but where do you think he was going in his career from what you were discussing with him? Was he going to do more performances like this? Was he going to switch it up?
I don't know. He didn't like talking about himself very much. He was really self-effacing. I think he was very uncomfortable with his fame. He was so nice to his fans. Not entitled at all, and I think he was very happy to be doing something like this. We shot it a year ago. We finished it. I finished cutting it, and then but we were still doing the sound and the music when he passed away. And so he did his job. It was done. What else did you ask me?
Well,
On that sad note.
on that note, yes, right here.
Can I say one thing about light and things just in time? We're the parents of Tracy Fairway.
You are?
Yeah.
Hi.
Look at the size disparity of
Oh my God. What was it like seeing her? Is this the first time you're seeing it?
This is the first time seeing it. I wanted just
She played Ellen, Julia's daughter. The parent.
back
for her appreciation for having this role and working with you. She really loved it, and we heard all about it, of course. But now seeing it as a final product, it's such a gem to see how you exposed and allowed her to expose her vulnerability and her charm, even though a lot of her scenes were, and I'm not saying clipped, but they were brief. No, I don't want you to think that I'm being a stage dad here. I want to say that she would enter the room and she would leave, and the dramaticness of her leaving and having only been there a moment was just so beautiful to see the structure and the elegance of like a flower opening for Julia. So I wanted to say thank you so much for your work. And I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Catherine Keener is one of my favorite indie actresses, just so you know, we share a liking there too. So thank you so much.
Thank
Beautiful
you,
work.
Tracy.
Well, enough said, indeed.
Thank you so much.
Hey, wait, before you go, you gotta get the word out. You gotta get the word out about this movie. And the best way to do that, obviously, is on social media. So go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on, I don't know if you're still using MySpace.
Talk to people like in person.
Whatever. Talk to people like a person. But please get the word out. Enough said. And thank you very, very much.